Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, page, platform, wherever you're following me from. Welcome back. We're happy to have you. For those of you who are new, my name is Pastor Shakima. I am the pastor over a women's ministry called First Love Ministries with Shakima Wilson. The Lord allows me to facilitate that ministry, and He has been doing so for about the last 12 years. 12 years. Let me see. Yeah, 12 years. Hey, ma'am, good to see you. So glad you're here. 12 years with First Love Ministries. And then 5.5 years we've been doing a arm of that called Titus 2 Women. So Daughters of Grace was my first ministry arm. Those ladies were my seasoned saints. They were well in their 60s when we first started meeting together. And so because they have aged, we have kind of sunset that arm, and we started Titus 2 Women. However, outside of all that, there's one specific study that I love to do every single year at the top of the year. You know how people make their resolutions and this is what we're going to do. I think you need to start the year off well with your marriage, right? And I believe in marriage. I believe marriage is God's idea. I believe it's a good idea. I believe some people have mishandled it because they didn't understand what it was going to be. Some people got married just because it's better to marry than to burn. But we don't understand all that comes with that marriage stuff, right? There's a lot that goes into being a married couple, right? First of all, you're no longer individuals. You're now a couple, and the two shall become one. The second thing is there's so much sacrifice, right? We go from being selfish to being selfless, or we should if we want our marriages to work. There is a give and take. There's an ebb and flow to marriage. Sometimes I'm getting more. Sometimes they're giving more. There's never a 50-50 in here. Everybody needs to be giving their best 100% that they have, right? And if my 100% is only 50, I'm gonna give you what I got. But I expect, or I should expect, or be assured that my partner is going to step in and pick up the slack. Now, that's not an everyday thing. That's just, some days. And then when they're at their lowest moments, I'm going to step in and I'm going to pick up the slack. So a lot of people are married, but they are not married happily. There are some people that are married, but they are miserable. And I don't recommend that for anybody. Nobody wants to be miserable for the rest of your life. If the Lord chooses to tarry and give us 120 years, I mean, who wants to be miserable for all of that? None of us. And I am coming from being divorced. I was married once, and I've been divorced now 16 years. And over that time, my ex-husband said something to me that really sparked my mind. It hurt my feelings in the beginning. But I remember one time we were having a passionate discussion. We were separated at the time, and we were having a passionate discussion. And he says to me, which is crazy, but he said it, and there has to be some truth to it, right? You got to look at what people say, pick out the truth, and then deal with that truth, right? He said, "You're not the right type of wife I need." And I was shocked because I was putting my portion of the money into the family pot. I was taking care of the kids. I was doing my wifely duties. I was cooking around the house. I was taking extra jobs when he couldn't pick up the slack. I was doing the things. But he said, "You're not the right kind of wife I need." Now, he didn't say I wasn't a good wife. I just wasn't the kind he needed, right? And so every person that's married should be looking for the person that fits in their plan. Like, what God has planned for me to do, this person is going to fit here. That's why submission is really challenging, because you have men who want women to submit, but to submit to what? You haven't given me a vision, a full vision of what God is calling you to do. So I don't know if I exactly fit that mold. But when he said that, even though it hurt my feelings, I had to pick apart and pull out the good parts of it, the right kind of wife. Okay. So I began to study what a wife, what she did and how she acted and how she moved and how she responded and how she just fit with her husband. And so it's been now 16 years that I've been on this active journey, because we were separated when he said it. And I immediately jumped right in like, okay, I got something for you. And he even gave me a book about how to be a wife. Let me tell you something. I don't want you to give me nothing. Don't you keep that, because I don't know your motivation over here. You keep all of that. Let me find what I need to find. So I went out and found resources. It was extremely hurtful to hear However, what it did for me over time was it gave me the motivation to study, right? You can't be a doctor without studying how to be a doctor. You can't be a lawyer without studying how to be a lawyer. Then take the bar exam and hopefully you pass the first time. Same with your, medical boards. You got to take the boards and hopefully you pass the first time. Some people don't pass the first time. And so you have to keep studying until you get it, right? When I went to take my teacher exam, I failed my teacher exam by 10 points. 10 points. When I took it again, I passed it by 30 points because I studied more. I was more prepared. So I'm looking at it from this perspective now. I'm way more prepared to be a wife now than I was 16 years ago. And we were together for 18 years. So I'm talking about it's been 34 years. And now I feel like for the first time in my life, I am ready to be a wife to someone who finds value in what I offer. Because I don't offer what I'm offering may not be relevant to everybody, right? That's why so many people can see you, can think you're attractive or whatever the case, and pass you by because they don't see you in their long-term plan. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. And that was hard to swallow at times when you're trying, been out here trying to date and stuff, and you meet people and they don't see you that way. But I could fit into any situation. Just let me. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't find the right person that fits into God's plan for your life, you're going to be miserable. And nobody should be that way. So with that being said, instead of making resolutions for myself, what I'm going to do, I come into this open space and I try to pour in as much as I can, as much as I know, as many mistakes as I made and learned from, into the God's people, and pray, hey Ladybug, and pray that it's beneficial and helpful and that you're able to glean something that you can then turn around and put into your marriage. I remember this, and I'll keep this for the rest of my life. There's a lady, her name is Karen Wheaton. She has a church and a ministry down in Hamilton, Alabama called The Ramp. And she was talking about when she first started The Ramp, it was just a place for young people to come. And I would assume to kind of, you know how a ramp works, you kind of go down and then you go up. And for those kids to be catapulted into their future, she just opened up an empty building and let the kids come on a Friday night and have a place to worship. And as she was doing that, she said the Lord told her, Karen, what you sow into the lives of these young people, you'll reap in your children. And she has, over the years, reached thousands and thousands and thousands of young people. Myself being one. I wasn't exactly young when I found her and we started going to Winter Ramp. I wasn't young, but I believe everything that Miss Karen poured in, she is reaping in her children. With that being said, here I am doing this, and I believe that the Lord said to me, Shakima, whatever you pour into these marriages, you're going to reap in your marriage. So I am a little selfish in my doing this. I'm selfish because I want your marriages to work. I know what divorce is like. It's not a good situation, especially when you have kids. There's no more fun on this side of the fence than it was on the other side. However, I do want to motivate you all to press in, to pour in, to stay together, to give it your best effort, because I want to reap that in my marriage. So my prayer is, Lord, as I pour in, let me do my level best to pour in what I know according to the word. That's all I can give you, is what is according to the word. I can promise you that I'm going to miss things, that I'm going to slip up, that I'm going to disappoint you. You're going to be disappointed at something I said, something I did, something I didn't do, something I didn't know I was supposed to do. So here's my encouragement to you. Please, please, please look beyond the vessel and look to Jesus, right? I am here to help, to motivate, to be the best I can be, but I'm not perfect, right? I'm just going to throw that out there. So in case anybody was questioning that, I'm not perfect, but look beyond Shakima and look to the Lord. Don't make me your idol. Make Jesus your idol. Don't make it me. I had someone tell me the other day, so many people are following your life and you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do this and you can't do this and don't do this. And I'm thinking, you know what? I appreciate that, but that's a lot of pressure for me to be under, because I'm not your God. I am just a regular person trying to live my best life, right? For the Lord, for sure. So look to Jesus. Submit your marriage to the Lord. Study. There's nothing wrong with studying. Some of us don't know how to do certain things. Study it. I'm telling you, there's too many resources out here for you not to know how to do certain things. So with that being said, we are jumping into the love dare. Yes, you guys. We're prepping for day 8, although we're going to review your dare from yesterday, or from today. So today's dare was to take 2 pieces of paper and spend a few minutes with the positive, writing out everything positive about your spouse. And then on the second piece of paper, you're writing out everything negative about your spouse. Did any of you have a chance to do that? Did your positives outweigh your negatives? You don't have to answer that in the comments, but just think, do I think more positively about my husband, or do I think more negatively about my wife? Whichever one, because I know I have some men that watch as well. So wherever you are, you got to figure that out for yourself and then be able to make adjustments, right? And so at some point, you're going to pick one of those positive attributes that you wrote down on the positive side and thank your spouse for that. Did anybody get a chance to do it? I hope you did. I said this last night and I'll say it again. I may say it every night between now and the next 40 days. Y'all, we're already on day number 8. So we are 1/5 of the way in. We on our way, very, very sure. Okay. But I will say this. To do the study or to listen to me every night but not apply what I'm teaching is really such a waste of your time. I mean, let me just put it out there and say it. I want you to be here. I'm happy that you're here. A friend of mine and I, we debrief every night after the session, and they say, was your session good? I say, I think it was good. I'm not real sure because I can't chit chat with you guys. I see who's on. I mean, I could see the numbers of who's here, and you hope and you pray that it's making an impact. But I will tell you this, if you're only listening to me yet not applying what I'm saying or what's in the book, it's a waste of time. You may as well go watch your favorite show. I mean, go do whatever, anything other than this, because like, why, right? Yeah, let's apply what we learn. I started a new eating plan today. I'm always starting a new eating plan, but I started something new today, and my body really craves sugar. It wants something sweet right now, but that's not on the plan for the next 7 days. Today was day 1, so there's no sugar for the next 7 days. There may not be sugar after the 7 days because I've got some goals that I'm trying to reach here, but my body craves what it wants. But I've got to discipline myself to stick to the plan. Some of us have to discipline ourselves to stick to our marriage. It's easy, I know, to just walk out on your spouse. So you think, not in today's economic times, honey, because apartments are expensive. That's all I have to say. You're going from one household set of bills to now 2 separate, child. That's a whole nother level of difference. So I want you to dig in. I want you to glean what you can. I want you to be able to say, hey, I gave this my best effort, and these were the results. Because on the 40th day, we stop right before the love day, Valentine's Day. That's our last day. You want to see what your results are right past that. So anywho, we're going to jump in to today's study, which is day 8. Which is love is not jealous, right? Your source. Oh, today is an allowing day. So remember, when I say it's an allowing day, an acceptance day, an apology day, all of those come from the marriage evaluation. If you did not do the marriage evaluation, I'm still going to encourage you on day 8 to go back and take that marriage evaluation. You need to see where you are strong and where you have some areas that need improvement. There's nothing wrong with getting the data. I took the marriage evaluation so I can see where my strengths and weaknesses are. Then what they do is they will break it. Every day is broken down, or every category is broken down. They give you verses to study for each separate category. And so what I did was I went in and I put on my book, I don't know if y'all can see that, but I put allowing, I put my verses up there, and then I'm just writing. I'm writing things and I'm highlighting stuff that I want to pull out for me, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm encouraging you to put some time and effort into this that you're then going to hope to reap out of your efforts, okay? So love is not jealous. This is an allowing day. Song of Solomon 8:6. This is in the NIV translation. Love is as strong as death. It's jealousy, unyielding as the grave. It burns like a blazing fire. Now, jealousy, some similar words that you might understand more are envy, covetousness, desire for, or the resentment of somebody else or something. Your source verses: Song of Solomon 8:6, Romans 12:15, Genesis 2:8, Galatians 6:2, 2 Peter 1:3 and 4, Deuteronomy 4:24. So I put all those in the little description. You should be able to see those if you want to go back and pull those verses out. I think the only one that's not there is the Deuteronomy, but I think I might have missed that one. I might have got it in there. I don't remember. So love is not jealous. I once had someone tell me, I'm a pastor. I've been ordained now 6 years. Yesterday was my anniversary of getting ordained 6 years ago. I've been in the ministry for 14 years, but I got ordained in 2020, right before everything shut down for the pandemic, in January of 2020. And I remember having a conversation with someone, and they said, "You don't want to marry a pastor." And I was like, "Well, why not? I don't care. I do care who I marry. I want to marry who God wants me to be connected with." But they were like, "You don't want to marry a pastor." And I was like, "Well, why not?" They said, "Because you and him will be competing against each other, trying to out-preach each other." And I thought about that thing for a second. I was like, "Well, is that true? Am I going to be in competition with my spouse? Am I going to try to out-preach him, or is he going to try to out-preach me?" And the truth of the matter is this: I am a very strong, confident, independent, self-loving, regal, classic, all the things woman. I am all of those things. I am confident in who I am. I'm not confident in my ability to preach. I'm confident in God's ability to help me do what I need to do for his people. That's where my confidence lies. But at no point in my life up to now, and I'll be 50 in a few weeks, up till now, have I ever thought about competing with my spouse. Even when I was married, he was always the head, and I was always submitted to that headship. So I don't see that in me. Maybe that's something they see that I can't see, because I can be blind to my own flaws. I don't see that there's going to be a moment when I'm going to clash or compete with my spouse. But there are plenty of marriages out here where the spouses are competing against one another. And that's not good for a marriage. Love doesn't do any of that. Love does not try to outdo, one up, and all the other things your spouse. What I'm doing is I'm for you. If I win, you win. If you win, I win. I remember, telling my friend, "Hey, if I got it, you got it." That's how we roll. All of my friends, if you in my circle and we down like that, if I got it, you got it. And what greater gift can you give to your spouse than to say, "Hey, babe, there's no competition here. I'm going to celebrate everything good you do. I pray you celebrate everything good I do. But if I got it, you got it. If you got it, I got it." Like that's just it. We locked in. But that is not every marriage. He says jealousy is one of the strongest drives known to men. It comes from the root word zeal, which means to burn with intense fire. It's where we get the green-eyed monster from. That thing, when you see somebody else having something that you don't have or that you want, that thing can be deep. I mean, you feeling that thing from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Why do they have this and I don't have it? I mean, that thing can really drive you to do some crazy stuff, right? Or think some crazy thoughts. But it's from that zeal. To be zealous is to have such a passion for something. That's where that jealousy comes from. It burns like an intense fire. This is so hot. I feel this thing so deep. It is like an intense fire. Proverbs 27:4 says, "Wrath is fierce and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy?" Nobody can, y'all. It destroys people. It destroys relationships. It destroys friendships. It destroys co-workers. I'm trying to get the same job, but she trying to get the same job. Now we trying to out get the job from each other. And I'm one up in her and she one up in me. And this is constant chaos and constant just at each other all the time. And it doesn't serve any purpose for the Lord. He talked about in the book, the writers, that there are two types of jealousy. You have legitimate jealousy and you have illegitimate jealousy. If you're taking notes or you're writing in your book, highlight those. You have legitimate jealousy. I thought about there's a case here in North Carolina. I don't know the names and I'm not going to say the names, but it was a case that one wife sued another woman for alienation of affection. Here in North Carolina, where I live, you can't be with somebody else's husband. That's not a thing. Because, honey, if you take that man, that wife could take you to court and sue you for alienation of affection, stealing her husband's affections away, and you can go to jail or have a fine or whatever the case is. So legitimate jealousy is when a spouse goes out on their marriage, steps out on their marriage, right? When a spouse steps out on their marriage, they're looking at somebody else, they got a work spouse and all the other things. That's a case of legitimate jealousy. You've taken away what belongs to me rightfully. Their affections, attentions, and all the other things are placed on you when they used to be placed on me. And I don't like that. I want that to be different, right? He said, legitimate jealousy sparks when someone you love who belongs to you, because in a marriage, and the two shall become one, you belong to each other. Remember, it says your body don't belong to you and his body don't belong to him. Y'all belong to each other now. Turns his or her heart away and replaces you with someone else. That's the hardest thing to come back from. I don't know. I don't know every situation in marriages. And I will say this, I usually put this as a disclaimer, but if you're being harmed in any type of way, I'm not telling you to stay with nobody that's hurting you. If you're being hurt or harmed in any type of way, get to safety immediately. But I believe that marriages can be saved outside of those dynamics, right? Those are some dynamics we ain't even trying to deal with. I'm not, hit me one time. You got one time. And don't go to sleep with me in the same house. My mother taught me some tricks, baby. Okay. You think Medea was out here slinging hot grits? My mother was slinging Clorox and hot sauce in the same pot. Don't play with your sister. Okay, don't play with me. Play with somebody else. It's not for you. So if that's the case, please, please, please get to safety. But in the other cases where you have infidelity, that's a tough thing to come back from. Because once I know you stepped out, I don't know that I can trust you again. I don't know. And now I'm feeling the type of way against this woman who, what she got more than I got? What's she doing better than I'm doing? I can't get my nails done, but you getting her nails done? Wait a minute, hold on. I'm over here washing your dirty drawers and she over here benefiting from all of the good stuff. See, it's this alienation of affection. And now I'm feeling the type of way because I am comparing myself to somebody who shouldn't have never been in my marriage in the first place. How did we get here? Those are the questions that I need you to answer. How did we get to the point where it was no longer us together, but now we over here and now you over here with somebody else? How did that happen? And I'm going to need answers today. Now, I'm not saying that stepping out is your fault or the fault of the person who didn't step. What I am saying is some need somewhere was not being met. I don't know what it is. It could be their love language was not getting spoken. It could be the intimacy wasn't being intimate. It could be all manner of things. It could be alienation of affection towards your children. Sometimes when people have kids, they totally forget about their spouse. They're focused on their kids. I don't know what it is. I just know that something is missing in that dynamic and you need to figure out what it is. And if it can be repaired, you need to repair it immediately. I've been watching this lady on TikTok. I'm going to find her name because I think she's good. I'm going to see if I can find her name. Let me turn this down though because I don't want to be having no crazy stuff coming up. Okay. Her name is Embracing Joy. Her TikTok name is Embracing Joy Therapy on TikTok. I'm going to show you. Okay, can you see that? Okay. Embracing Joy Therapy on TikTok. Now, I am not a therapy person. I'm going to tell you right now, I do not believe that I need to go to therapy. I believe that the Lord can therapize me by himself, right? But if you need therapy, what I want you to do is I want you to go. Okay, I want you to go to therapy because that's fine. It's not for me. But when I started listening to this lady, because I'm in the dating space, I'm trying to be available for my husband to find me, and I have anxious attachment style. So that means if I text and they don't text me back for hours, I'm concerned. Did they get in a wreck? What happened? They don't like me no more. They're talking to somebody else. Oh my mind just goes. I don't like dating. It puts me in a bad space. It puts me in a bad headspace because I'm anxious. But that is a stem from my childhood. That has nothing to do with the person. It has nothing to do with who I am right now. It has to do with my childhood. So I started listening to this lady because she makes some good points. And what she says is happy couples repair immediately. We have to, if there's a breach in this relationship, some type of a way, we got to repair immediately. And some people run from confrontation. Listen, we're not going to run from confrontation. And I'm not going to jump all over you either. But what we are going to do is we're going to have a conversation. We're talking about this. We can talk in civil tones. We can plan out our rules of engagement. A lot of people don't have proper rules of engagement. They just come in both barrels blazing. We are not going to yell at each other. We're not going to raise our voice. We're not going to bring other people in. I'm going to respect you. I'm not going to use bad words. Whatever your rules of engagement are, you need to have them in place so that you can repair quickly. A lot of times separation comes because we don't repair. We have issues that are sitting out there that nobody has thought that we needed to fix. And then somebody else gives the illusion that they can be better than what you already have. And when you make that turn and you go in that direction, what you have now is you have jealousy on somebody's part. And even the side chick can be jealous of the wife. Now, don't get it twisted. It ain't always the wife and jealous of the side chick. She can want what the wife has. You only have them on Friday nights. I got them 6 days a week. Even though the wife may not know anything is going on. But you have this other person over here. She's giving her affection to that person, or he to that person. And they're jealous over the fact that they only have you one night a week instead of all 7. They don't have any of your children, and your wife or husband have all of the children with you. There can be jealousy on both those parts. But that's a legitimate type of jealousy. That's understandable. You should have that. It shows how much you care for your spouse. But there's a second type of jealousy that he talks about, which is illegitimate jealousy. This is where envy comes in. The Bible says where there's envy and strife, there's every evil work. That comes out of James. But also in James, it says envy leads to fighting, quarreling, and every evil thing. That's James 3:16. And then it goes back into James 4:1 and 2. So where envy and strife, there's every evil work. There's so much going on because I'm envious of what you have. I see my neighbor and she got a new car and I don't have a new car. I was going for the same promotion as somebody in my work, and somebody totally outside of the whole establishment, when it was supposed to be my promotion, comes in and gets the job, and I'm jealous of that fact. Or it's my 10th year wedding anniversary. My husband didn't upgrade my ring. I'm still rocking this $99 Walmart special, but my neighbor over here, she only been married for a year, and hubby done got her 3 carats. I mean, it's that irrational, ridiculous, I'm just jealous for no reason type of thing. But it can cause major damage to your marriage. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Illegitimate kind of jealousy stands in opposition to love, the one rooted in selfishness. This is the jealousy. This is to be jealous of someone, to be moved with envy. And I wrote in here on my book, the best marriages are made up of 2 people using their individual strengths to form a unity, a bond. We all have individual strengths and weaknesses. The best marriages aren't competing with each other. The best marriages are taking the best of what you have and the best of what they have and putting them together and working together for the unity of each other and the family. Let me see what else he said. Jealousy is a common struggle, though. So I don't want us to get it twisted like, oh, I'm never supposed to be jealous. It happens. It's a thing. It's sparked when someone else upstages you or gets something you want. This can be very painful depending on how selfish you are. Instead of congratulating them, you fume in anger and think ill of them. If you're not careful, jealousy slivers like a viper into your heart and strikes your motivations and relationships. It can poison you from living the life of love God intended. He then talks about, that's on page 37 if you're following the book. He then talks about how you should be with your spouse. This is what I believe, and I'm standing 10 toes down on this. This is me. 10 toes down. You should be I should be my husband's biggest cheerleader. Nobody in the crowd should cheer louder for your man or your woman than you. Because what happens when somebody else is cheering louder for them than you, they will become the captain of his team, of his fan club. They will be squad leader and you will be replaced. Whatever my spouse does, babe, I'm in your corner. You out there, hey, I got a sign. I'm here for you. I am gassing you up, all the things. I'm never thinking about, well, if I hadn't been working, he would have never been able to go back to school to get that medical degree. This my medical degree too. No, that's not what we're doing. Babe, I'm working right now real hard. So you can go ahead and go get that medical degree. And then when you get that medical degree, you're going to be able to have me sit down somewhere. I have a friend, her husband is a doctor. And while they had got married, he was still in college. I think he was just about to do his residency or something like that. You know, when you do the residency, you can't work. You got to be always at the hospital. So she taught on her teacher salary. They lived on her teacher salary for a year. But after that year was over and he got all the things, oh baby, she quit that job. She ain't working as a teacher no more. You know what I mean? Listen, I am here for you. What you got going on, babe? What's your I'm finding stuff in your week to celebrate. That's what keeps that jealousy away, because I understand that whenever you win, I win, right? You win, I win. He says this, and I thought it was really good. He says, when you are married, you are given the role of becoming your spouse's biggest cheerleader and the captain of his or her fan club. Both of you become one in life and work to share in the enjoyment of each other. But if selfishness rules, any good thing happening to one of you can be the catalyst for envy rather than congratulations. So I'm never letting what he does affect me to the point where I don't want to see him do well. I want you to do well, because when you do well, I do well. When I do well, you do well. This is the last thing I'm going to share, and I'm going to give you the dare. We can talk about this all day long. Page 38, good point. He says, because love is not selfish and puts others first, it refuses to let jealousy in. It leads you to celebrate the successes of your spouse rather than resenting them. A loving husband doesn't mind his wife being better at something, having more fun, or getting more applause. He sees her as completing him, not competing with him. When he receives praise, he publicly thanks her for her support in adding to his own success. He refuses to brag in such a way that may cause her to resent him. A loving wife will be the first to cheer her man when he wins. She does not compare her weakness to his strengths. She throws a celebration, not a pity party. And this is what I thought about. You know, when you go to those Oscar shows, like the global, what do you call it, the Emmys and the Stellar Awards and all those other things, the first thing people think is God. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for getting me here. Then they'll thank all the other people. At some point in those speeches for the married couples, they say, I want to thank my spouse or my husband or my wife for putting up with my schedule, for helping me run lines, for all. They're thanking the person who was in their corner. So think about it. If your spouse were at the Emmys, would they be thanking you? Would your name be in their speech? It may or may not. And only you know if it is or if it's not. So if it's not, you got to figure out why it ain't. And then you have to fix it, right? You're going to fix that issue, because there could be some jealousy floating around somewhere. Well, I remember in my own marriage, I graduated college 4 years and 2 summers it took me to graduate. My ex-husband went 4 years and he quit his last semester of college, just stopped going, quit. And for a long, long time, he penalized me for being a college graduate because he was a college dropout. That didn't have nothing to do with me. You quit before you met me. That had nothing to do with me. But it was never like I said, well, at least I'm a college graduate. Whatever I had, we had. I was into the we, us thing. But he always felt like I was better some type of way. He felt that jealousy thing because I was the top breadwinner in the home. And that bothered him. He did not reconcile in his mind that it's ours. It's no longer my stuff and your stuff. When we got married, it becomes ours. And I was there. I don't care how much you got. Whatever we got, we put it together and we make it happen. Now, I'm not saying that now because I've studied for 16 years. I'm saying that because that's how I feel the truth. It will. Yolanda said it slips in unaware. The least thing, it ain't even on your mind. And the next thing you know, you're blindsided by something you didn't even know was there. But again, that goes back to the root issue of what's in me. There's something in me that's deficient that sees that thing in you, and now I got an issue. And we don't want to have those issues. So not only is this helping you dare towards your spouse, but this should be a reflective tool. I'm using this 40 days as a reflective tool to look on the inside of me to figure out where I'm lacking. Something's off here. If I'm constantly competing with my spouse instead of completing my spouse. Now, let me just be cautious about that completing thing, because I don't think a person can complete you. I think they can complement you well, right? I'm not looking for a missing piece for my life. All of the pieces for my life are here. My kids are grown and raised. My home is being paid for. I'm paying all my bills. I ain't late on nothing. My health is relatively good. I go to the gym. I'm not looking for somebody to step in and now their health is making me whole. I'm looking for a whole person to match my wholeness for us to be together. So I don't necessarily agree with that completing. I am definitely here for compliment. I'm looking for the compliment to me. And sometimes people don't see your gifts, your strengths as compliments. They see it as competition. And that's where that thing comes in. So here we are. Last thing he says, it's time to let love, humility, and gratefulness destroy any jealousy that springs up in your heart. Love, humility, and gratefulness. Again, for today, it said to tell your spouse something that you are, grateful for or appreciate them for. I want to be able to say to my husband, babe, I'm so thankful that you go to work every day. I'm so thankful that you don't call out and just lay out of work. I'm so thankful that even when our backs up against a wall, you go out here and make a way. Two pieces that fit together, absolutely. But that piece is whole, and so is this one. And they just fit together perfectly. Think about that 1,000-piece puzzle. Those pieces are whole. When they come together, all of them, they make the puzzle, right? But I mean, I'm so ready to be thankful, babe. I thank you that you come home every evening and help me with these kids, babe. I'm so appreciative that you work so hard so I can stay home with the kids. Whatever it is that your spouse is doing, that is letting love and humility and gratefulness destroy any of that competition. When we start appreciating, spend more time in the appreciation room than we do in the depreciation room, we can really begin to see all the things our spouse does. And if you have to compare, ladies, here's what I want to say, or gents, if you're comparing, look around really at the people in your sphere of influence and honestly take a good look to see, are they doing any better than you? Because sometimes we want what they have, but they argue all the time. They put up we were the best. We were the perfect outside family. You would never have known there was anything wrong in our marriage at all. We knew how to dress it up and go outside. But coming home and closing that door, oh no, ma'am. All the cracks start to happen. And that was detrimental to us. That was detrimental to our family. As you can tell, 16 years later, we're not together. He's remarried to somebody else, and I'm thankful for that. Praise God. And I'm out here finally being available, right? I do pray that is God's best. I think I'm here for it. God's gonna bless me with the best husband. I think so. I don't know yet, but hey, I'm here for the Lord. Whatever God got for me. Here's your dare. All right, for tomorrow, day 8. Y'all are doing so good. I'm proud of y'all. Hey, I'm proud of the ones who stick with it. Y'all like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Determined to become your spouse's biggest fan and to reject any thoughts of jealousy. Just get it out of your mind. The Bible says, take every thought captive that would exalt itself above the knowledge of Christ. If you know that's not a good thought about your spouse, take it captive, put it in a chokehold. You will not play with my mind today. This man, this woman loves me. They love me more than I know how to be loved. They love me to the selflessness part of themselves. They are putting in the work. You got to self-talk. You got to, because the enemy gonna come in and start playing with you. He plays with me as a single person. Well, nobody wants you. You ain't never gonna. You gonna be single for the rest of your life. And then I fall into it. What if what if this is all God has for me? That is not what God said. That is not what He said. And I gotta go back in and I gotta replay that dumbness and I gotta pull out. No, He didn't say that. He didn't say that either. No. And then put back in what He said. So imagine when your tank is empty and y'all on E. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You on E, and then you go to the gas station and you fill up. That's what your spouse feels like when you start gassing them up. You hear me? They can run for the next 700 miles on this one fill up. Pour in. Just think, pour. But they're not pouring nothing else into me. Well, find you a group that will pour into you in this season. Maybe they don't know how to pour, right? Maybe they don't know how to appreciate. Maybe they're looking towards your example, and something you do towards them is going to then promote or prompt them to encourage you. So I know it's tough when you're the one doing the encouragement and nobody's encouraging you back. That's okay. You got friends. Come here. Shakima encourage you, girl. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. Because I'm telling you, on the other side, it's tough. It's tough out here. I remember I was at some place with a group of ladies, and one of the ladies, she was just crying. She was like, "My husband don't never do this," and blah blah blah. And I'm just thinking it's better to be divorced. And I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, this ain't it. This is not it. I know it's tough right now, but your man don't beat you. He bring home his paycheck every week. Y'all got some good stuff going on. If I was you, I would tuck in, I would dig in, I would lean in, I would try to figure out how we're gonna work this thing out." And all these many years later, they're still married. Why are you playing with it, sis? Don't do that. Divorce? This ain't it. We over here struggling. We ain't no more. Praise God. Here's your dare. I wasn't planning on going this long. Y'all pray for me. I've been out sick today. This throat ain't trying to act right, but healing in Jesus' name. Okay, dare for tomorrow. Determine to become your spouse's biggest fan and to reject any thoughts of jealousy. To help you set your heart on your spouse and focus on their achievements, you're going to take yesterday's list of negative attributes and discreetly burn it somewhere. Then share with your spouse how glad you are about a success or a blessing he or she recently enjoyed. You're going to gas them up and tell them, "Hey, I am so excited that the Lord did this for you, that the Lord provided this for you." You're just going to celebrate them. You might even need to have a celebrate my spouse day. Listen, just have a celebrate my spouse day. I know it's tough to try to figure out all the logistics. They don't even need. I'm telling you, you could go to. I went to Walmart the other day. I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. It's not my thing. And they had that Martinelli's, that apple cider spicy bubbly stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, yeah. They had that on the sale for $1. I picked up 5 bottles. My kids like that stuff. So I picked it up. It's $1. Girl, get you out some good glasses. If you don't have none, go to the $1.25, $50, $75, $5, $7 tree. And you can pick up 2 glasses. Hopefully they're still $1.50, but they might be $1.75. They could be $5 and they switch the tags to $7, but get 2 anyway. Just one for you and one for him. And get you a little board, and you want to make a charcuterie board, right? Just a little grazing board. Just put a few little cheeses and whatever they like. Put what they like on there, not what you like. Put the kids to bed. Take a nice good shower. Put on some smell good stuff. Listen, if y'all have not gotten on the bandwagon with that his business and her business from Auntie Tab, let me help you. Her business is the business, but when you mix that with his business, oh girl, it's y'all business, right? And so you do that. And you set the mood. I know we all saved over here and we listen to the old Rugged Cross, but can you put on something else? Just have some ambiance. Tell Alexa, play something, and she'll find it for you, right? Just do that. And then when they come home and they, text them, "Hey babe, something planned for us later. Just come on in the back door, run up real quick, grab you a quick shower, and then meet me in the living room." Or wherever. I don't know. Y'all not it. But then you just celebrate. He's like, "Well, what is all of this?" "Well, babe, this week or last week you was telling me about that promotion or whatever, and I did not feel like I didn't celebrate you, and I need to do it. So this is just a toast. I'm making a toast to your good success. I'm making a toast to positive work environments, all whatever, right? And you just clink clink and take a little swiggy swig, and before you know it, y'all in a situation that causes for privacy, and that just makes that just brings it all together, right? I'm not saying everything leads to intimacy, but when you're sharing space, when you're face to face, when you're intimate with your spouse, body to body, there's a whole different experience that happens in a married couple. And a lot of times when we're jealous, we withhold. And I get it. Sometimes your body's not available. Sometimes you have cycles and all those things and whatever. But I do not think it's good for you to stay separate a long time. I think you need to come together quite often in that space. Because when you do that, see, inhibitions become down, right? So now everything is over. Aftercare has happened. Now we pillow talking. Stuff can come out now that might need to be discussed because everybody inhibitions are very low. We've just expended all our energy on all the things, and now we can have some conversations. I don't think you should have every conversation after that, but I do think that would be a prime time to ask some questions and check in. That's all I'm saying. All right, you guys, there it is. That's all I have for today. That was good, and I don't feel well. I'm gonna go take something and go to bed because I'm gonna get better, healed in Jesus' name. Join me tomorrow night for day number 9. It's an affection day. Look at me, affection. Love makes good impressions. Tomorrow night's study is love makes good impressions. 1 Peter 5:14, greet one another with a kiss of love. Here I am finishing up talking about intimacy, and tomorrow is talking about affection. So there it is, Holy Spirit. All righty, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. Like the video, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things, and I'll see you here tomorrow night. Bye, everybody.